EmceeTV.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, that motherfucker Steve. You watching EmceeTV, the podcast, coming at you live from Lightroom Studios. And this week, I got my man, Entré with me. What's good, bro?
What's up with you?
Oh, man, I appreciate you coming through and rocking the mic and jumping on the show with me, bro.
Oh, yeah, it's a blessing to be here, for sure.
That's awesome. So, let's just go ahead and kick it off a little bit.
Okay.
Let's hit them with your bio real quick one time. Let them know for the new viewers, you know what I mean? Let them know who you are and where you come from.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Entré. I ain't no appetizer, baby. I'm the main Entré, you dig? And I'm a singer, songwriter, dancer, musician. Originally from Iowa City, Iowa, but I've been in Des Moines pretty much my whole life. Singer, songwriter. I have my own clothing brand, Lunar City. I travel and tour around the U.S. performing. I've opened up for Nelly, Little Durk, Anne Marie, Asian Dog, Kevin Gates, 3-6 Mafia. I did BET Awards weekend, BET Hip Hop Awards weekend, the only artist in Iowa to chart on the Global Indie Top 150 charts simultaneously this summer with 2 records. Had a single on the Global Top 200 charts for digital radio, peaking at 61, 1 slot above Adele, 8 plaques. Yeah, I think that's the
Damn. That's a
the-
solid. You coming in hot, bro. That's a solid lineup, man. Yeah, okay. So I know we just talked about it a little bit, but for the viewers,
Yes.
So are you originally from Des Moines then, or did you grow up out here?
So I was born in Iowa City, but I moved to Des Moines in like '06. My family's actually from Inglewood, Chicago. So I used to spend a lot of my summers in Chicago and then staying in Iowa City. But yeah, moved out here in '06, lived in like the Pleasant Hill-ish area, and I've been out here ever since.
Cool. Yeah, I moved out here in '02, man, and Des Moines grows on you. I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice space, especially like to raise a family.
For sure.
Nice environment, and just I feel like as an artist, it's a good space to kind of develop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like smaller venues where you can really like hone in on your talent and really figure out what it is that you're trying to become. You know what I'm saying?
I agree wholeheartedly, and I think for an up and coming artist or somebody that's really trying to push any craft out here, having so many large cities around us, you know what I mean? That was the big appeal to me. Like when I first came out here, we didn't have Wells Fargo Arena, and Drake Relays popped off big, but we didn't always have a show going on every weekend or whatever, and so you'd have to make a run to Omaha if you wanted to go catch somebody, or run to Kansas City or Chicago, Minneapolis, but all those cities are within just a few hundred miles, so you can jump to a Minneapolis for a couple days or just for the night, catch a show and turn around and come right back. So to me it was a no-brainer, you know what I mean? Des Moines was like the smack dab middle of the United States.
Centrally located.
Yeah,
for sure.
so it made it super easy. Cool. So I mean, everybody's talking about you right now. You got a lot of things going on. We had to catch up with you right before you're leaving town, right? I mean, you're getting ready to take off. You got some big things coming up.
Yes. So I won the BET pre-show when I went out to the BET Hip Hop Awards. And so
real quick, how did you even get out there? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I have been traveling pretty much the whole year, traveling and touring. I had 2 singles come out. So I had a single, Lolo, Lights On, Lights Off, streaming on all digital platforms. Plug.
No doubt.
But I had a single, Lolo, and then I also am featured on a single called Cornbread. And Cornbread, it's very funny. It's about being like Iowa raised, Iowa grown. And so, cornbread fed, that's the whole concept. And so both of the singles kicked off and did numbers immediately. Released the songs in March. By June or July, Cornbread had hit 100,000. Lolo had hit 140,000 streams. And we both had plaques.
Damn.
From that. So From there,
Was that, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt again. Was that mainly like through Spotify or what
oh
was?
yeah, so it was 100,000 streams through Spotify.
Okay, cool. You're
And
good.
140,000 streams through Spotify. But from there we started getting radio, more of a radio push, radio play. I think we were how many radio stations? It was 50 radio stations. We were in rotation on for Cornbread, and I was in rotation for Lolo, and so that added some steam. I peaked at number 3 on Media Base in the Chicago market for my single, and so so from that and then streaming, it gave me a lot of momentum into doing more shows. I do a lot of performances in Chicago, and then doing tours through Atlanta as well. So I just built a solid one. I have a solid team that put me in those positions, but just riding the wave of the momentum gave me extra opportunities, and that's how I got there.
Nice. That's awesome, man. So okay, now listening to your story, it kind of intrigued me, just as somebody that's played with those analytics and looked at things a little bit. Do you think that it was just the right time and the right song when you guys dropped those songs, or do you think did you change your marketing and it resonated differently with your fans? Like, why do you think those songs took off so much more than maybe a previous release?
It would be marketing, 100%.
Yeah.
Just we had a marketing campaign going in, so it was no surprises. None of this was by accident.
Okay. Yeah, you went in with the intention and you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception with artistry nowadays. No business. You have to stop. I try to tell a lot of artists, you have to stop looking at it as oh, I don't want to put money into what I'm doing. I'm trying to be just organic.
Yeah.
I'm like, you think that Nike is just oh, let me just be organic today.
That was a perfect way to put it. That was a great analogy.
No, you have to put marketing into everything that you're doing, from social media marketing to campaigns to YouTube ad campaigns, things like that.
Yeah.
And have a clear understanding of what it is that what your market is, and then amplification in those areas. So then it wasn't just that I'm doing the social media aspect, but in all forms of marketing, the ground game.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be marketing in those areas, then I should also be performing in those areas, networking with DJs, networking with artists, with radio personalities, with influencers, doing events in those locations. I mean, everything under the sun that you can think of to maximize what my single could be.
Yeah.
I promise you I did. Even going to the malls and singing to fans.
That's
singing
awesome.
to random people to make them fans. Hey, yo, I also got a show coming out tonight. So every
game.
every possible thing that you could think of where we could maximize. If I know that I'm going into Chicago, I'm doing ad campaigns for a month going in. I'm setting up interviews, podcast interviews, radio interviews, even if they're a smaller brand, because the next time I go to Chicago, I already have a collection of people that already know who I am, already know what I'm doing, and already know what I'm about, and I'm about my business. And so over time that, you build a fan base and you build a support scene these locations. And for a young artist to say that, oh, I can tour through Chicago, Nebraska, KC, and have that. And that's not, I didn't spend any extra dollars, on that. That was just by being intentional with my marketing, with creating relationships and all of these different things. And I think that's really, really important. If you're an upcoming artist, you have to, the things that don't cost money, you have to do.
Yeah.
Networking doesn't cost money. And if you have to pay to get into the space, go into the space with the understanding, I need to have business cards, I need to network with this people, if they're Nerve DJ, Coalition DJ, Core DJ, you need those people, because those people want to break singles.
Yeah, yeah. And that's funny because we had, why can't I think of his name right now? DJ Hollywood. We had DJ Hollywood on here, and we were talking to him
Shout out
about
to Hollywood.
Yeah, respect. We were talking to DJ Hollywood about breaking new singles. You know what I mean, and how relevant a DJ is in the digital game. And he said, they're just as relevant as they once were, if not even more. You know what I mean? Because
Facts.
yeah, the DJ is still out there dropping new cuts, and when you go to a club or a party or whatever, people are relying on the DJ to keep the party moving. So 100%.
You can't. The best way that I look at it is like, you want to obviously be on discovery platforms such as like TikTok, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, stuff like that. But like when it comes to the breaking of a single, when you talk about like DJ pools and actually having a clear understanding, a lot of artists don't actually know if their song is worth investing in. And so like DJs are going to be the first people to let you know whether you should put a budget into marketing your single or not. And so DJs are very much so important, and they tap into a whole nother revenue stream. And then that gets into a whole nother side of business that it frustrates me that artists aren't coding their music or copywriting all of that other stuff. You can take advantage of so many other opportunities if you just take care of the little things. But I digress on that.
You know, on a cool note, right along those same lines, we talked about it, I think last week. I don't know. Do you know who Papoose is?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So Papoose just became the president. I want to say it was the president. Or no, he's the A&R for TuneCore Hip Hop. And he's in charge of basically, pushing TuneCore's whole movement with keeping it independent and everything, and really inspiring young artists and showing them what they can do independently, and helping guide people and stuff like that. And I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? That people can really create their own avenues. You know what I mean? Because the days of a label giving you $1 million advance from the 90s, you know what I mean, and going, here, go take this and create a record that's, whatever, and shoot music videos and whatever. Those days are gone, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
It's more so like right now, like you have the leverage. So, I mean, that is a good avenue, but again, we have discovery platforms where you can also generate income.
For sure.
So, like, it would be better if you focus on, you can be independent. It's more likely that you could be independent, generate income, and then you still have ownership of your masters.
Yeah.
And then you may not have as much media attention, but you're doing what you need to do, and you're generating income. My mentor, he put it super simply for me. He said, you don't need a lot of fans. He said, if you have 1,000 fans spending $10 a month, you're making six figures.
That's true. That's true. That's undeniable right there.
Yeah, that's 10,000 a month. That's 120,000 just off 1,000 people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
you don't need a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about most shows, you know what I mean, in a smaller venue, a vaudeville muse type of venue or whatever, those shows have 100, 150 people. You know what I mean? And so 1,000 people is a phenomenal turnout. You know what I mean? At an event somewhere in Chicago or whatever. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, you know what I mean. You don't have to pack Madison Square Gardens out. You know what I mean? You can really rock some of these smaller venues and create a phenomenal fan base and a grassroots movement and with strategic marketing and things like that. You can really do a lot with it these days. The internet has definitely empowered us. And then on top of that, marketing with other artists and teaming up and featuring and stuff like that, cross-platforming and things like that. You can really do a lot. So I'm assuming you take advantage of all social media platforms, and you got the Twitter, you rock all that? Yeah,
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, IG, Facebook business page, all that.
Yeah. Now you said you got a team. Do you run any of that yourself, or do you kind of just let people play their role? And
as far as my social media, at the particular stage that I'm in, I can still monitor and manage my socials. But I do. I have people who I do consultation with just to maximize what it is that I'm doing on social media. They are in the marketing space, and they do a lot of content for businesses. So just keeping in line with what is my brand, what is my theme colors, like, you know what I'm saying, getting into those concepts so I know that whatever I'm posting on social media, it's aligned with whatever my vision or mission is.
Sure. Well, and it can be a lot, you know what I mean? Even just on my little platform, you know what I mean? I'm going, all right, we got to drop something today. You know, we got to create content. We got to make sure we drop it at the right time. And then I got a 9 to 5, you know what I mean? And so I got to work around that schedule. Plus I got kids and, you know, wife and, you know, whatever else. So it's a lot trying to juggle a social media platform and make sure things are hitting correctly and look professional. And, you know what I mean? That's a big responsibility.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about. So it was Lights On, Lights Off. They just hit 500,000 streams.
Yeah, my Lights On, Lights Off EP hit 500,000 streams. Yeah,
that's awesome. So that's a huge milestone in your career. At least I would expect, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Such a blessing, really, just to see where I've come from. Just again, my single released in March. And to get that type of traction and support, plus the other accolades and accomplishments that I got to add with that, just validates, you know, when you're working hard for a goal, you're working hard for a dream, you know, sometimes it's hard to see the bigger picture. And those are one of those bigger picture moments that, hey, you have something worth, you know, fighting for, worth investing in and going the extra mile for.
That's awesome. Now, you said you got a little bit of a team. Are you signed to a label, or so? How can you talk a little bit about your situation in that?
So I'm currently independent, but I have partnerships with in other spaces. I have my own label, L Official ENT, and that's where I do a lot of my stuff through, and then I just bring other pieces and just hire them on and stuff like that. So like I have a sales rep. I have a manager, a radio consultant, a coder, all of that jazz.
Cool. I know you've done a little work with Bo James.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Shout out to Bo James.
Yeah, Bo's been out here for a long minute, man. I remember, actually, we're in the East Village. I remember back in the day catching his shows at House of Bricks and. I'm a little older than you, so you might not have been at them shows, but
no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going on 38, so this was 2000 and shoot. I came out here in 2002, so probably like 2004, 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. I used to catch a lot of Bo James's shows, and yeah, man, he does his thing for sure.
Yes.
And I actually know quite a few different artists that he's worked with over the years. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's definitely been out here doing it for a long minute.
Yes. So how I met Bo. Bo was my mentor. Does so much. Helps me in so many areas as far as my music career. So really shout out to him. He's been a blessing in my life and just an amazing mentor. I ended up being invited to, he did this thing called Stale, Starving Artists Let's Eat, at Lefties.
Oh, cool.
And it's essentially a space to allow artists to grow and kind of develop in the performance aspect of their artistry. And then you would do that in front of judges. And so I went out there because one of my friends was like, hey, yo, there's this kind of like open mic kind of situation. It's every Monday.
Nice.
And so I went through, and it was the first time. Well, let me back up a little bit. I went to college for classical and jazz voice and piano, and I did that for 2 years. And so after that, I was signed to an agency for acting and modeling.
Oh, nice.
So in the meantime,
my man got stripes.
Yes, a little bit.
Certified.
But so in the meantime of all of that, as I'm kind of growing in development space, the only reason why I wanted to do acting and modeling at the time was to develop into a better artist. I went to college. As far as the technical being a musician, yeah, I got that. But I wanted to really know how to maximize being an artist, being in the industry. What does that look like? From merch to the business side of things. How do I get on stages? All of that. And so Stale was essentially a one-stop shop. I perform every Monday. I get critiqued on my performance. eventually bringing in dancers and stuff, because I was a part of a hip hop dance crew at the time, and then even the opportunity to bring merch, do merch booths,
Oh,
sell
nice.
tickets, and so he truly like Stale was such an amazing place. Hundreds of artists had went through this particular, I would call it a program, where you could truly, the beginning stages of being an artist and truly understanding that dynamic was there. Again, you could sell tickets, you could do merch booths, you could perform, you could grade it and judge.
Yeah.
Every Monday. Every
That's
Monday
awesome.
I knew that I could get better and be better. And from that, it created a 4-year relationship with Bo, and him seeing, the seriousness of me being in there every Monday, and then going in and learning more financial education, financial literacy, the mental health component. I already work with kids, but working in schools, doing more mental health advocacy, and how that kind of aligned. And so we just aligned on so many different things. And I'm one of those people. I play sports, and so I just take direction very well. And even
Cool.
whether you're there or not there, I can apply it and put it into my craft. And he saw that, and it created a pretty great partnership.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's something you guys continue to work on together.
Yes.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So so now we talked a little bit about. Okay. So you got it. Was that your first EP then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. And you had great success with it then. That's awesome. So are you back in the studio then working on new material?
Yes. The beauty of all of this is, because I was so intentional. The single was intentional. I had already had music prepped and ready when the single came out.
Okay.
So I have like seven singles mixed, mastered, and ready to go already.
Nice.
Now
The follow-up.
all the full follow up is already done. Now it's just the intentional campaigns and getting everything prepped and ready. So I got a few different singles that'll be out in 2023. We're gonna switch up the vibe.
There we
We're gonna
go.
switch up the vibe a little bit. I'm excited for everyone to kind of hear my growth. But I was working on a Zodiac album, which I put on hold because Lolo really. And so now I still have those songs.
Okay.
And then I have other singles that are more of a vibe. So
Cool. So I definitely keep your ear out for this one because he got new stuff coming at you, y'all.
Soon.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Man, you got a lot going on. You stay busy. So
Yes.
I kind of interrupted you earlier. You said we were talking about how you got to the BET Awards. Can you tell us a little bit about the whole trip out there? Like, who'd you go out there with? Did you just go solo dolo or?
I went with my team. So the first BET Awards that I went to was in LA.
Oh, you've been a few times. He's seasoned. What are we gonna do?
Yes, indeed.
He knew what to do.
So the first BET Awards that I went out to was in LA. I did 6 red carpet appearances. For that, I actually got to go to the award show. I did a mixer in Hidden Hills.
So how, not to interrupt, so how does something like that happen? You just kind of, there's a forum and you can just apply and you say, hey, I'm a local artist. I'm interested in checking out the BET Awards, and then you just end up in a pool and they kind of draw from it, or?
So I have a booking agent.
Yeah.
And so he's the one who.
Okay, that's his lane.
Yes.
Okay.
I just kind of show up.
Right. Yeah. He said, hey, you going to the BET Awards? You're like, all right, count me in.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. I guess just as a fan, you know what I mean? I'm like, how does that happen?
Yeah. So with the networking stuff, so I guess if we're gonna go like timeline as far as the single, I released a single, but when I released the single, I sent it to different DJ pools to get ratings on whether or not it's something that I should invest in. In the beginning of that, I performed that. I was an official artist of South by Southwest Music Festival.
Nice.
So I had already opened up for Nelly. I already opened up for Lil Durk, and then building momentum. I had done some other things prior to this moment as far as just building up the credibility of my name as an artist. But I think the first like big thing that I did was South by Southwest.
That's awesome.
From there and those connections, I did the core DJ retreat, and then I did. I had some other performances opening. I did the Spring Jam tour with G Herbo and Anne Marie, and then I got to BET.
Okay. So folks
was a
already
little bit
knew
of progression. Yeah,
folks already knew who you were.
Yes.
Yeah. Your name was out there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So then once I did BET Weekend, that was such a surreal experience. You know, seeing walking in, having some of your favorite artists just in the vicinity of where you are, walking in line with you, sitting, walking in front of you, sitting in front of you, all of these different things. It was super surreal, and to not see anybody else from Iowa in my radius of where I was kind of crazy too. Like, man, and though I wasn't the only one from Iowa, there was another guy, another artist who was out here. But even then, like, that's not a lot of people to be that representation, and to people's reaction to tell them that I'm from Iowa. And at first, they didn't even think that there was black people in Iowa. So transparency. But yeah, it was such a surreal experience. I remember seeing like Moneybagg Yo and Ari, and the people by me just swooning over Ari.
That's awesome.
Ray J asking people for alcohol. Hey, bro, where my drink at? Like, oh, it was such an amazing time, and then just the networking around that, it was crazy. It was such an amazing experience. And so then I also later on in October, I did the BET Hip Hop Awards weekend, and that was in Atlanta. So the BET Awards weekend was in LA. BET Hip Hop Awards was in Atlanta, and I did 6-7 shows, appearances. I did something with Shay 45 out there.
Nice.
I did a performance at 2 Chainz' restaurant spot. I also did a couple radio interviews, but fast forwarding, I did 7 appearances. I went to 7 clubs, and they played my record in all 7 clubs, even the strip clubs in Atlanta.
Damn.
And so I was like, that was a surreal moment, because I've been to many clubs in Des Moines and haven't. I've only had a few actually play my record in that I know of, and few that played my record while I was actually in the building. So to go to Atlanta for BET Weekend,
and you get to see the reaction of people.
Yes.
Yeah, how they're receiving the record and stuff.
It was, again, surreal moment. Like, wow, I went to Atlanta for BET Weekend, and every location that I was at, they had already been playing it.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
And so to just have that that type of experience again, legitimize, like, yo, I have something. Continue putting the work in, continue putting the effort, because I can now come to Atlanta and do this. And the last thing that I did was I did Music Mondays at Stankonia.
Oh, wow.
And did that for the Coalition DJs. And
that's awesome.
Got a warm, so many great reviews, great responses. And so, yeah, it was again, another surreal experience, but humbling, knowing where I am and what I need to do to get to, the other space.
So in my own experience, I've been very privileged to be able to interview lots of, celebrities, even people that I grew up listening to. It's tough to not geek out in them spots. But I mean, for you, you've been in a ton of these places with your peers and people that are, maybe, a couple tiers ahead or whatever. And that's got to be difficult, right? To like, I mean, you're looking at all these people like, damn, I grew up listening to you, or I used to listen to you on the radio. Like, now I'm in here with you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's wild. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm in a space where I'm so used to, working with Bo, networking everywhere you go, intentional networking, intentional marketing. So in those spaces, it's not even about them really. It's
Just
about
focus on you.
I'm just focused on me, and with that comes knowing who I am, knowing who I aspire to be. Yeah, these are the people that I idolize. You know what I'm saying? But I also deserve to be in this space too.
For sure. You earned your ticket.
I've earned my ticket. So now it's just about, well, if we're all in this space together, that means something.
Yeah.
So I just try to treat them with respect, but also in the same time treat myself with respect and just go from there.
For sure. That's cool. All right. So and so what? And I meant to touch on this earlier. What
Yes.
single were you pushing that you took out to Atlanta? Did you already have Lights On, Lights Off at that point?
Yes.
Okay, so that was the one you were out there and.
Lights On, Lights Off was what I was out there for. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome that you had the foresight to be able to put that whole package together and go, all right, this is it. This is what we want to take out there. We want to push this. This is how we're going to do it. You know what I mean? You had the whole plan put together.
Yeah. Then again, it came back down to the progression. I already knew that the record, I had already gotten reviews back from pools of whether, of if my single was even, I should pursue moving it further.
Yeah.
So by the time April hit, I already knew that Lolo was going to do something. That was just up to me to get it out to the public.
Yeah.
But the DJs let me know that it was something, and by April, I was already charting in radio. So that's getting into timeline again. March I released the record. By April I was already charting. I was already charting because the initial work of getting it into the hands of the DJ. So for artists out there, another importance of the DJ, they can set you up as well, being intentional.
Heck yeah. So now while this is all going on, did you have a quote unquote 9-to-5 back here in Iowa that you had to walk away from, or say, hey, can you save my spot? You know what I mean? Like wife, kids, family, home, dog, cats. What do you do?
So I got 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old son now, and a 7-year-old daughter. Birthdays both in January.
Nice.
So, man, Christmas to January. Hectic time.
Yeah, you busy.
But I was working for my brother at the time. He runs a marketing, black-owned marketing company downtown.
Here in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Called Coco Creative. And so, man, just shout out to him. His name's Terrence Thames.
Terrence.
He was so flexible and allowed me the space to. He knows what it's like to follow a dream. And then to have the validation of like, yo, like this is real, and him being in the marketing space, he was able to see things in my movement that I wasn't even able to see, and kind of give me direction, like, hey, yo, so when it came to having to move around and be in these spaces, he was supportive. I mean, he's literally my brother. So.
Yeah.
Oh, my brother was my boss.
Hey, if they don't support us, I don't know who's going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, he was such a support system in this particular space. And again, not every artist has the luxury of having a literal marketing company.
Yeah.
In the phone call,
right,
and then actually working for one. So. I was a social media strategist for his marketing company, and I curated. Nice. So that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, I handle a lot of the social media on my own because I was already doing that for other companies. So
you can look at those analytics and incorporate that motivation and how to move things on your own.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Man, we touched on so many things. You got a lot going on, bro.
Yes.
Okay, so Lolo's out. It's doing big numbers. Where do you go next?
Where do I go next? So I have Rolling Loud next week on Thursday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
that's out in L.A.
Yep, out in L.A. And then I have South by Southwest Music Festival, March 6th. The South by Southwest Music Festival is March 10th through the 19th, but we're going out there actually hosting hosting an event, and it's called the Cornbread Certified Showcase. Cornbread Certified Takeover and Showcase.
So you guys have your own stage.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool. Look at that.
South by Southwest official stage.
Yeah.
And that we're hosting, doing consultation, master class, teaching artists how to maximize their social media and branding.
Dope.
We're also doing a Models and Bottles rooftop party and event, and then performances. So
Very cool. Very cool.
and it's open to artists in Iowa who take music seriously and they want to perform. Again, this is a Cornbread certified event, and Cornbread is about being Iowa raised, Iowa grown. And so we're just trying to showcase that, yeah, this is South by Southwest, yes, Austin, Texas, but we have people in Iowa doing real things, real big things. And so we got Iowa DJs coming through. We have other big names that are going to be in the building. I won't say too much because y'all got to come through and be a part of the movement. Iowa Music Awards will be in the building and be a part of all of this. So, yeah, man.
That's exciting, bro.
Yes.
That's very exciting. You guys got a big couple of months coming up.
Yes. I'm super excited. One, I'm not a selfish person. I want to see everybody in Iowa really take that next step when it comes to artistry. Iowa has the potential to be such a bigger place when it comes to music business, but we're not all on one accord on what that actually looks like.
Sure.
And so part of the reason for all of this stuff, taking Iowa artists and giving Iowa artists the opportunity to travel outside is because the outside world don't really know what we have to offer. We have the talent. It's the other aspects of the music that we could be more in sync with one another on. And I think this is one opportunity to do so. Outside of that, I'm the host of a model industry icebreaker model mixer event. I have a brand partnership with Selfie World, and so I host those. I'm hosting one in Iowa, and I'm also hosting one in LA. And I've hosted 3 thus far. I have another one March 12th at Selfie World, which is at Valley West Mall. I have a partnership with AT&T, and also endorsed by Finish Line.
Damn, very nice, very nice. Okay.
Yes. So allowing not only artists the opportunity, but also anybody in the music entertainment industry, from photographers to models to artists, the opportunity and space to actually travel and really network and connect. And again, now we have a home base where we have things to leverage. And so, yeah, it's been surreal. I can't wait to see how many Iowa artists take advantage of that. If any Iowa, I know the artists that are going to be there, but if any more artists take advantage of the opportunity, because we got a lot of big things going. And we also have the Cornbread Festival so that we're hosting in July.
Okay.
That'll be out here. And so, yeah, blending urban music and rural, and piecing it together and really showcasing what Iowa has to offer in all of its capacity.
That's dope. I think for the longest time we were looked at as a flyover state. You know what I mean? It was like, we go, or even for touring bands, you know what I mean? They'd hit Omaha, pass through Des Moines on I-80, go right through us, and then go to Chicago or Minneapolis. But then, we became a lot more of a key player as we added Wells Fargo Arena, and people really started to take notice, like, oh, there's things going on in Des Moines. And, I mean, I think there's a lot more people that want to try and get into Des Moines. And I mean, even if you look at just the Silicon Valley companies that have moved out here, we've got Apple, Facebook, Microsoft. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people trying to get own a little piece of Iowa.
Again, it has so much potential to be, especially in the entertainment space. We have the talent. It's the cohesiveness and having certain. Honestly, I feel like we should have grades and tiers. Honestly, like certain.
Justice, so I ain't
Yeah.
I want everybody to get a full view.
I think we should got tiers. We should have grades of like certain venues. You have to be certain letter grades to be able to do.
I like it.
And with that, also Des Moines Music Coalition, Iowa Music Awards, a lot in the opportunity to like, the only way to really move up in the grades is to have the education.
Heck yeah.
And so like it holds the artist and the city accountable, to make sure we're developing our artists and they understand the business, because that's a lot of times what the issue is with the artist and business, and the venue's relationship is a lot of artists don't understand business.
Yeah.
And so they tend to do things that you're not supposed to do as artists, and it ruins the relationship. And the artists they're only thinking from the creative space. They're not thinking of the bigger picture of what they're trying to build. And some artists have that vision, but when you max out this particular vision, what is your next space? What's the next level to that? And I don't think, as a collective, there's pockets of people who have that information and understanding, but as a collective, we don't.
Well, and I think when you're so focused on a creative thing, it's difficult to split that time and go, okay, now I've got this thing I've created. How do I take it over here while I'm creating the next thing? You know what I mean? Like that can be very difficult. And so, and not only that, the music game itself is just coveted. You know what I mean? People don't say, hey, sign up with DistroKid and you can get your music on all these platforms, instead of somebody going, well, I got a SoundCloud and I'm trying to push everybody to SoundCloud. You can jump on one platform and have an aggregate that goes in the middle and get you on everything, and then you can track it all from one site and make it a lot easier for yourself. And you can see those analytics from one point. You get your artist account. You know what I mean? And
but then there's a whole nother that's where there's a whole nother side to that.
There really is.
Then you have to start getting into, well, okay, with if I'm on all of these different sites, are they responsible for tracking everything? Is all of my finances going through them? Or is it just one portion of my finances going through them? Well, what are the different ways to make money off of music? What are the different ways to make money off of music digitally? Then we have to start looking at our Facebooks, our Instagrams, our TikToks, our Twitters, our YouTubes. Like, have I been generating money already?
Right.
And then where do you go from there? Because no one knows who do I actually go to for that kind of information, other than going to YouTube. And then you get into, are you registered through BMI or ASCAP, Sound Exchange? Did you register your music to even be played on radio so it can be tracked on radio?
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of artists, they send their stuff in to get played on Shade 45 or stuff like that, but they didn't do the paperwork on the back end in order to actually see a benefit from even putting it on those places. And then how are you going to send your music to Shade 45 and it's not copywritten?
Right. Yeah. I think people get excited in that moment, and then they just go, all right, let it fly. You know what I mean? Like, boom, it's done. I recorded it. We're going to get it mixed and mastered. I'm ready. Send it out to the world. You know what I mean? And they forget that gigantic step of, ooh, this is mine. I got to trademark it. I got to own it. I got to copyright it. I got to do split sheets. I got to do whatever. You know what I mean?
And again, that comes from the creative versus businessman.
Yeah.
It's one of my Bo always talks about, he has this $100 concept. Artists don't view their music as a product. They just view it as, they know that it can make money, but they don't know that as soon as you upload it, it's generating income. It's just that somewhere. It's just that you're not seeing it.
Right.
So he always equates it to $100. If you dropped $100 right here, I'm like, hey, bro, you dropped $100. I know you seen that you dropped $100. You're like, oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, I get it. I get it eventually. Hour go by. I'm like,
hey, you're still sitting there.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's still sitting there, and you're like, oh yeah, whatever. And then you leave, and the $100 is still sitting on the ground. I'm gonna pick up the 100. Somebody's gonna pick up the 100. I'd rather it be me than somebody else you don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing with music. If you don't copyright, if you don't go through the proper stages, someone's going to take it. Yeah. And not maybe.
It's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed. And they restructured the whole system game after 2 years. If you haven't went through the progression. It gets redistributed to the. It's all of that money is going to a black box and it gets redistributed. So you're not going to be able to have ownership anyway.
If you think about how many people are even people I've talked to, doing the hip hop stuff that I do, you know what I mean? I got homies that are like, they kind of, and it's almost like the mixtape game a little bit back in the day, but they just jack beats off of YouTube and they're like, and some of them write beautiful music to it, and I'm like, bro, where'd you get that beat? I got it off YouTube, and I'm like, bro, you got to link with a producer, bro. That shit is fire, but you don't own the beat. I mean, now granted, you could take those same lyrics and transfer them over and try, you could try and match it up on the BPM and whatever, but because you own the lyrics if you wrote them, but I mean, you put a lot of effort into something that you don't own the beat for.
You're not going to see a return from.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I mean, if you're locked in the chamber and you're just ready and you can just write all day and you're just dropping shit because it's hot and fuck it, I'll take a Eminem beat, I'll take a Nas beat, and you're just dropping shit all day, cool, whatever. But I mean, you could see more out of your investment if you dropped on, if you put a little more effort out and hooked up with a producer and got you something official.
And that's why, like, I created the Model Mixer event, is to create a space for artists and creatives and entertainers and models to network. Like,
that's dope.
It's one space. That's the one thing that I had wished that we did more, and we do it. It's just not there's not a lot of advertisement in the actual networking for artists. There's so many people who already do that here, but we're not linked together.
Yeah.
And because then we could really be focusing on what is Iowa's sound.
And that comes up a lot, right? As two people from Iowa, we know people are like, yo, what's the sound? St. Louis has got the Nelly sound. Kansas City got the Tech 9 sound. That double time.
Chicago has the drill.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody has a sound. Iowa is in the middle of everything, so it's a melting pot of many different influences, but even Iowa has a sound. But the more we cultivate it and we understand the business, the more we can really start putting our artists on in these major spaces. And then now we're having different conversations, because then we can, when people try to come through Iowa, there's a structure and a system in place. Not to say that there isn't one, but I'm saying it is known throughout. When your artist coming through here, you already know what it takes to be an artist in Iowa, and I think that's the things that we're missing. And then also going out to these other places and truly showcasing that just because we're from Iowa doesn't mean we're not on our P's and Q's. We have the business together, and we gonna turn this place out.
For sure. That's awesome. So now you said you're getting ready to go to L.A. You got to be excited, right? I mean, you got a lot of momentum behind you.
Yes, super excited, man, just for the opportunity to be a part of the festivities, but also just network. I mean, I love initially socially awkward, but I just love the art of networking, and you never know who people will become. Just funny. It's not really a funny story, but side story. When I went to college, I sang in an a cappella jazz group, and we toured throughout California. And as we were touring the schools out there, I was 17, just turned 18 at the time, and so we're doing school tours, and then we're doing like clubs in the evening. And so one of the school tours, I ended up meeting a senior that was graduating that year, and we were the same age, and it was crazy. It was like super talented artist, and the very next year signed to a major deal and was touring with Kalani the next year. Damn. So like you really never know like who people will become. I remember I was at the Core DJ retreat, and I was at Sleazy World Grows listening party, and then I seen him perform at the club, and then a couple months later he's one of the hottest artists in the United States. So like it's super important for all artists out there. You need to network with everybody, not just the people who you think are cool. With everybody, with the DJs, DJs first. One, you need to network with the DJ because they have the potential, as we've talked about, to change your life. But
Breaking records, y'all. Breaking records.
But all the artists, dancers, entertainers, radio personalities, just people because you never know how they can impact your career and what use they have to you. So
that's the truth. That's the truth. So where's the Rolling Loud Festival at in LA? Do you know?
I don't actually know the specific location. I mean, it's on the flyer and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I was just curious. Just curious. I'm kind of familiar with LA. I used to go out there a lot. So my best friend, shout out to Brandon. My best friend grew up together. And this is a prime example. You know what I mean? You never know. I mean, we was homies since we were little doing dumb shit together. But
I understand that.
Yeah. But, you know, he went one direction, I went another direction. He went to the Denver School of Arts and went on to work for James Cameron, and his name was in the credits for Avatar 2. And he did model, animation and stuff for Avatar 2, and played a huge role. And so shout
out to him.
Yeah, real talk. Shout out to my boy Nuisance One. He is a phenomenal graph artist as well, and did the front cover for my first EP, Back to Bars Volume 1. And he hand painted it on the back of like the Rosecrans Street sign, and that he just found on the side of the road and just hand painted on it. And I mean, this shit is next level, bro. Truly talented kid that went out and chased his dreams. And we were just chopping it up today, and he was sending me pictures of him and DJ Paul and Be Real from Cypress Hill, and you know what I mean. He went and studied under the Beat Junkies and learned how to DJ, and you know, he's living his best life out in LA, you know what I mean? And yeah, you know, he's working on movie sets and really doing his thing. So I mean, it's really, you never know who somebody's gonna be. That was a long rant, but that was the point to that. You never know who somebody's gonna be, and that's also why, I mean, you should just be a good person in general, but you should also, you know what I mean, treat people nice, because you never know. That dude might be in an A&R one day, and he might go, "I'm tired of your shit. I know who you are. You was an asshole to me on my come up."
Yes, yo.
I've heard stories about that.
Many stories, and you never know who people are connected with. The music industry, once you get to a certain place, everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
And so if you mess you're not about your business, you're just really difficult to work with, it could be a dark road for you.
Yes.
For sure. But again, you never know who people are, and you should go into the space understanding, having self-confidence and self-worth and knowing who you are, but also understanding what that looks like in the particular space that you're in and how you can use it to play to your strengths, but also understanding that you never know who people are and what impact they could have on your life. Like I said, one moment can change your life forever.
Amen. That was a gem right there. I just feel like we need like gems just coming down. My man is dropping gems on y'all. We'll get an emoji or something popping up in here.
Yes, indeed.
So, hey, real talk. I like to drop in a little news every now and
then. Yes.
So, I'm rocking the shirt because I am a huge fan of Bruce Willis. Grew up watching all the Die Hard flicks. You know what I mean? I mean, like, the dude did so many damn good movies. But unfortunately, you know, he had this thing called aphasia, and I guess that's where you like jumble words in your head, and you can't like, as an actor, you know, you got to know your lines. And so for him, it was very difficult to learn lines and stuff in the more recent years of his career, and they just diagnosed him with I think they called it frontal temporal dementia, frontal temporal dementia, and I guess he's in a bad space, and so they're just, you know, his family's really trying to take care of him, and that's a tough thing, man, for somebody that's given so many great films, you know what I mean, and you know, I was looking for. I try to switch it up on a T-shirt so I ain't always wearing the same one, you know what I mean? And I was like, I got to pick something dope. And I was like, I'll throw this on. And then when I was sitting there killing time, got everything set up early, I was wanted to check in on him and look at his, look and see what was going on since I'd heard about that. Man, that's a tough thing, you know, for somebody that's done so much and created so many. I mean, the dude's probably been in 40 different movies easy, you know what I mean? So that's a tough break. So shout out to Bruce Willis and his family. He was married to Demi Moore. He's got, I think, 5 different kids. But yeah, man, that's
it's like super unfortunate, but the beauty of it all is that he never wasted any day of his life. And so with everything on the other side of things, it's like he can go as time goes on. He doesn't have any regrets.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And he may have regrets in like personal life, but as far as like his business and career, he's done so much for just the art of just movies and entertainment just in general.
Yeah.
And so the beauty of everything is we get the opportunity now to appreciate him even more while he's still here. There's a lot of musicians and entertainers where we didn't know what was going on until it was too late. And we lost them, and we didn't give them the opportunity to give them their flowers or truly appreciate their greatness while they're still on earth. And so the fact that we have the opportunity to do that, I think is a blessing. And so, again, another moment to cherish everybody that you have in your life, and another reason why to treat people with respect, because we don't know what others are going through. We all have individual lives, and yeah, so I'm just glad that we get the opportunity to give him his flowers while he's here.
Amen. Amen. Well, and what a beautiful thing for his family to be able to, they can fire up some of his films on Netflix or whatever. And so as they're reminiscing on the different achievements in his life and things that he's done, they can look at him and go, oh, yeah, remember when you did this film? And for somebody that's unfortunately, for lack of better terms, kind of losing his mental faculties upstairs, they can look at those films and maybe that'll help him, retrieve a memory and go, oh yeah, I remember when we were on set, this happened or whatever. So,
I had went to, it was one of my friends, their great grandma. She wanted to have, I can't remember what was going on at the time, but she wanted to have a funeral, going away celebration while she was alive. She was like, yo.
That's cool. That's cool, though.
Like, I know my time's coming soon. I don't want to. Let's just get this out the way. I don't want to be sad. I don't want y'all crying over me when all this is going on. I know it's coming. So let's just celebrate. And she had the whole family, friends, partying, food, games, everything. Cool. You know what I'm saying? And that really put things into perspective for me of why it's so important to just cherish the people while we're here. And to me, death is just a transformation to another journey. You know what I'm saying? We have this life on earth, and it's super precious. You know what I'm saying? But with that, it's just another journey. It's another path that we go down. Nobody knows what happens after we die.
That's
true. We have people who have assumptions, if they're religious or spirituality, but the reality is that no one knows. And so to fear something unknown is illogical.
Okay, I like that.
It's illogical. All I can focus on is what's here now in front of me and what it is that I desire for the future ahead. And so as long as I live each day with purpose, I cherish my kids, I cherish my family, I treat them with respect, and I maneuver in a space that allows them to be free and unlock their journey and unlock their path. Why fear anything? I am religious. I fear God, but why fear life? Why fear death? Just live the life that you're going to live and just allow it to be.
I like that. I like that, man. All right, so now we've been talking about your career and all these dope things. Who else are you seeing with aspiring careers around here in Des Moines? Who you seeing that's kind of it's making some waves?
One of the artists that I work with, Cole Saint, for sure. He's the one who created Cornbread. He's moving around and touring as well. He's going to be at South by Southwest.
Dope. I think we've crossed paths a few times. He's pretty dope, dude.
Yeah, he's a pretty good artist. Maystar is one who's really, really great. Tone the Boss. He's not in Des Moines, but out of Cedar Rapids.
Okay.
He's the creator of the Iowa Music Awards, but his song was just used for the Kansas City promo. So,
Like for the Chiefs?
yes.
That's an accolade right there, baby.
So he has this. He had a single, "Give Me My Ring," and then he has another single that he has that the "Give Me My Ring" was used for the Golden State, their promo reel for them winning the championship, and Golden State picked the music. So their social media team picked his song to be featured for that.
Very cool.
And then also for the Chicago Sky, when they won their championship, they used "Give Me My Ring," and then for Kansas City, they used his other single. So he's someone that one I view as a peer, but I also look up to. He's making waves. Man, there's so many talented Des Moines artists out here, some doing stuff locally. I mean, you can always give shout outs to Be Well, to Fly Live, to Giuliano Dog. You know, there's so many Honor Roll. There's so many amazing artists. Goku, Ontario Phoenix. I can I can go down the list. There's so many amazing people that I can give shout outs to. But the one person that I see doing things that I've never seen, I've never done. Tone the Boss, man.
Okay.
That's to have those accolades. Golden State, Chicago Sky, Kansas City Chiefs. That's
can't
huge.
deny that.
Can't deny it. So just super appreciative of having someone, all of them, to look at them and challenge myself to do something different, to do something better. But
that's cool. Well, you know what? I think they say a lot of times, what do they say? Steel sharpens steel. You know what I mean? When you're working with people that are pushing themselves and really have that drive, and you use those people as role models, and you guys vibe off of each other, that just strengthens everybody. You know what I mean?
And it's cool too because there's not a lot of artists who do what I do. I'm a singer, songwriter. I have my own dancers. I have dancers who tour with me when I go and travel and perform. So I'm in a space of my own, but I can also admire the other side of it. I do rap. I'm not going to lie that I don't rap. I do rap, but I would say I focus on being more of a holistic, well-rounded artist in the space of I sang first, but I also really enjoy rap. Wale is one of my favorite
nice.
One of my favorite rappers. And so I've always went to the approach of writing music of what if Wale and Jhené Aiko did a feature song together? What would that sound like musically? Or what if Drake and Giveon did a record together? What would that sound like? Just to challenge myself on the writing aspect. I know what my sound is, but in the space of creativity, I just want to be the best writer that I can be, and consistently challenge myself to be a great writer who can write under pressure. I already know I can write a hit.
Yeah,
it's not if, it's a win.
Yeah,
and so I just love that aspect, and I love that looking at the different models and the structures of I wouldn't have approached the song that way. So this is super fascinating that they even, on a local level, they even did that. I could pop in at local shows all the time and just show love and that's super crazy. I would have never thought to use that beat in that particular way. So it's not just my idols that I look up to, but even I look up to a lot of people locally and just challenge myself to be something different in that, because they even create something that's different, that's unique. So if you allow the world to inspire you, you know what I'm saying, you can get the most out of it. But
you feel like a pretty positive guy. I feel like you can find a positive in any situation. You're you know what? We took a loss today, but hey, we learned from it.
But how about now?
Yeah.
Because we up right now. No,
we win. No, I love it.
Yes. What I've learned, I've been through a lot of life experience, and life a lot of times is about your perspective.
Sure.
It's about your mind. And so you can go through dark times, but your mind is what controls and dictates truly your trajectory. And so positivity can't just be something that you have. Positivity fluctuates. So positivity fluctuates. My bad. Happiness fluctuates.
Okay.
You can be happy and sad. Those are moods. They fluctuate. But having a positive mindset is a choice. And so I can choose to either allow my situation to frustrate me, to anger me, to allow me to shut down, allow me to be in a corner, or I can allow the situation to allow me to take a step back, to look at it like, yo, where did I go wrong? In life, failure is a part of success.
Amen.
You have to fail to truly understand the value of whatever it is that you have and ultimately where it is that you want to go. No dream is not going to have some failure attached to it. Yeah, a lot of us have beginner's luck. The universe is aligned to push us into our life path and our life journey, but then also God, the universe, whoever you want to go in this particular situation, also is going to challenge the things that you say that you do want. And so if I know that it's a challenge, I'm going into it with a mentality of, in this fire, in this bad space, the answer is going to be there. So what do I have to be mad about?
I like this. I like this, bro. There's another gem, y'all. There's another gem. You guys should be paying for this right now. He's dropping gems on you. This is like
at least a notebook.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Nah, man, for real. Yeah, that's a dope outlook and one that I think you probably cultivated, right? I mean, you gotta push that a little bit. You know what I mean? And like sometimes you gotta search for the happiness or the positivity in a situation, but you can go, all right, you know what? Nah, we're gonna come back stronger next time.
You know, the one thing that I've always liked about I've had a pretty great support system growing up, but just people who they were in survival mode. And so we as parents, and people in the society, we're trying to get kids out of survival mode and allow them to have a space where they can be free to be creative, to be businessmen, businesswomen, to truly enjoy life. But in that, I'm a someone who can see someone in the space, see what they went through, but also how they got out of it.
Oh,
and
sure.
One of the things that was consistent all across the board was mentality, their mentality around the situation. And I know that my time is not up here, so I always have another day to change whatever it is. Again, failure is a part of the process. So the relationship that I had that didn't go right, I could blame them, or I could just charge it to the game. They weren't what I needed, or they're not supposed to be where I'm going. I don't have to hate them for that.
Sure.
I don't have to be mad about that. My job, if I get fired from my job, I could be mad that I got fired at my job, or I can look at it as I wasn't supposed to be here. And where I'm supposed to go, the door will open as long as I keep a positive mindset. I piece this together of like, I talk to my friends who, all of my friends now are in the space where they're starting to get married and all of that jazz. And I talk about being in the space of like, when you're getting into the capacity of truly understanding, identifying what love is to you, like with that comes heartbreak. In order to truly love, you must also understand the structure of what heartbreak is.
For sure.
And so in that, when your heart is broken, do you allow, some people say the devil, do you allow life to harden your heart? Well, if you harden your heart, the next person that you meet may be the person for you.
But if you pushed them away.
And you pushed them away because you were so focused on the feeling of anger, sadness, that you didn't allow yourself to receive the blessing that was coming.
Yeah.
So the positive mindset, mind frame, is to allow whatever is supposed to be for me is for me. I just have to allow myself to have it. And the only way to allow myself to have it is to have a positive mindset, to have dreams, to have goals, but know that that's only one portion of manifestation. The other side of manifestation is putting in that work.
Amen. Amen.
You got to put in the work. So
Show and prove.
show and prove. So if I have dreams, if I have goals, if I'm speaking things into existence, if I'm speaking life into myself, if God already put the answer inside of me, then what do I have to be mad about? Nothing.
I like it. Man, the gems, they're all around us right now, man. He's really speaking game. Okay, so we touched on so much stuff. I feel like this should be a TED Talk right now, y'all. Y'all gotta.
I actually did TEDx.
Oh, for real?
Yes. I spoke a little bit in saying I have a single that I had released called Gem. It's called Give You More. It's about one of my friends of school. Their sister attempted suicide. And didn't pass away. So I wrote the song from my perspective of like going through the situation with her, and then her sister's perspective as well. And so I got the opportunity, was super blessed. It was a crazy time because my grandfather I just came back from his funeral, and like I went to his funeral, then we cleaned out his house. Then I drove from Chicago all the way to do rehearsal, and then our sound check, and then the next day was TEDx.
Damn.
So it was a blur, but I think that in all of that, it was an opportunity. I got to tap into a place that I had never really. I mean, not that I'd never been before, but I felt that my grandfather was with me, and I really got to speak into why hope is so important to our youth, giving them a space of hope, that things are okay, that they can get through their situation, that they can survive their situation, that they have a support system, that they're not alone.
Yeah.
That I've been through that. Like, it's so important, but even giving the adults around us the tools to be able to help those kids. And a part of that is why I do so much in mental health. And so I thought that I was able to convey that message. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. Is that something that they can go out and find on YouTube or something somewhere? Do you know?
The performance is on YouTube, and it's also on socials. Me speaking in my performance is on my social media. So, yeah, it's something if you follow me, Instagram, EL_official music. TikTok, EL_official music. Facebook is Entré Luché. Twitter is Entré Luché. YouTube, Entré Luché. That's ENTRE LUCHE. You already know what it is, man.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Okay, so being from Des Moines got a lot of great places to eat. You know what I mean? We've been hitting everybody with this question when they come through. So when you go out for dinner, be it just a quick bite or with your lady or, you know, whatever you're doing, where do you like to go?
This is a difficult question.
Got him in the hot seat, y'all.
Yeah, because it really just depends on what it is that I want.
So I live on the south side. Mm-hmm. We eat a lot of Mexican food. Love Mexican food, and so we go to Old West a lot. Mm-hmm. Where else do we go? If I'm going somewhere quick, been known to dip into Abelardo's. That's what
I was gonna say.
When I was drinking, I used to hit it a lot in the middle of the night, 2-3 in the morning.
Sometimes I go through to ceviche.
Okay, nice. It's right down here in the East Village.
Yes, that's a decent spot.
Shout out Brian Tigner.
Man, there's a few different spaces. I go to Outback.
Okay, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
One of my friends works at the Outback, so it's super convenient. It's like it's low key like the space that we all meet up at. Like, hey yo, what you doing today?
Hey, man.
I already know what you do. You go to the Hey, bro, let's go to the.
Hey, I like it. No, Outback's a good spot. You get a nice steak.
Yeah, there's a few different spots. I'm blanking on some of the names because there's some ducked off
Yeah.
Some ducked off. Yeah, I can't think of anything at the moment.
Now you good. You good.
It's like it's that moment where there's too many options.
Yeah.
And you can't think of I can't think of the space. Yeah, no.
What do you think about Zombie Burger? Since we're in the East Village, you like Zombie Burger?
I like Zombie Burger. I haven't eaten it a lot though. It's like I think it's because I have a negative memory associated with it.
They chased you away. It happens.
I had short story time. I always leave my stories with that. But there was a girl that I was dating at the time, and she was like, she wanted to go on a double date. And all my big homies told me double dating is a no-go. It's a no-go. But I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm young. I want to be with her. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Okay, let's go. So I left college. And heading back on a double date. I get sick. I don't know what happened, but I was sick. And so we went ice skating first.
Brenton Skating Plaza.
Yeah, and we went ice skating first, and then after they was like, we should go to Zombie Burger. I was like, yo, I was already sick. Then ice skating, I messed up my ankle. I'm limping. She trying to jump on my back. I'm like, girl, get off of me. She was like, but she's on his back. I'm like, yo, I don't care what they're doing right now. Man, went to Zombie Burger. I was like, look, all right, I'm finna order we got the fried pickles. We got all of the little situation, the sandwiches. But I'm like, I'm sick, so I'm not trying to eat. And she think I'm mad about her jumping on my back. She's like, I don't know what it is today, but you've just been extremely rude. I'm like, yo, I told you I was sick. She was like, no, it's more than that. I think it is. And so she stopped eating, so I paid probably like $60, $70 worth of food. And it's just sitting there and nobody's eating it because it's awkward. And I was like, I lost...
Man, it's like a bad movie.
It's a bad movie, but I went with some of my coworkers to Zombie Burger. They have some amazing food. Shout out to them. And it's mostly really just an experience. So it's one of the places that I would recommend for people to go to as well.
I got a lot of musician buddies that come to town. They're like, bro, we gotta go to Zombie Burger, bro. I've heard about it. We gotta go check it out. So
yes.
Like, yeah. Cool. All right. So Ray and I came up with this. Shout out to my dog, Big Ray West.
Shout out to Ray West.
He's hosting and DJing an event right now at Lefty's, and so he wasn't able to be here tonight. He got double booked, and he said, hey, I ain't going to make it. And we were actually going to try and do a second podcast after this, but it just didn't work out. So you just got me tonight, folks. So we came up with this little game. It's like you got 3-car garage. You get 3 vehicles. Money's not an option. What are you putting in it? You get an old school, a new school, and just a bucket. Just something you can drive around, La Honda or whatever you want, whatever your bucket is.
So one of the cars, I would like an old school Corvette. That would be pretty. No. Yeah, I'll take an old school Corvette.
You got like a specific year or anything in mind, or do you know?
No, I'm not like super heavy on cars.
Okay.
I can get into that a little bit. I was raised single parent household. My mom, the only cars that I got were obviously like hand-me-down cars. Sure. And so my mom, she just got something that was. I have older siblings, and so my sister and my brother, they had a Pontiac, green Pontiac Sunfire. And which is a small body car. And so I drove that. And then my mom had a minivan because she did a daycare. And so I got a minivan. And so when I was in school, they used to call it the Danny Mobile.
A lot of range here.
And we used to every Wednesday, we used to all go skating at Skate North. And so everybody would ride with me. And so we got like 10, 13 people. We got people in the trunk. You know what I'm saying?
We're lapping up.
Yeah. and yeah, they called it the Danny Mobile. Anything that we had to do. So I just really like, cars are cool to me, but like it doesn't define. Because I never was, my mom's not into cars. I was never really around people that like, cars were the main thing. But
sure.
I've always... but a Corvette is something that I've always wanted to have. A Dodge Challenger,
Ooh.
As well. I mean, we could get into like obviously everybody, the Bugatti or the Lamborghinis. I've always wanted like a sports Jeep with the with the doors off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
the Rubicon joint.
yeah.
The big old mutters on it, and yeah.
But lastly, what I've always wanted is there's like a what do they call a travel van.
Oh yeah.
So I have a Chevy Express, like a 2002 Chevy Express,
like the Sprinter vans for like touring. Or
yeah,
no?
it's a passenger van. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And so like I have mood lights in my van. It has a bed in the back. It has the old school blinds on the joint.
Yeah.
It has a TV in the middle console, and then I also have it. It's more modernized, so it plays music videos.
You said you actually have this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so he ain't even got to visualize it. He actually owns what he wants.
It's so my sister's dad. I have an adoptive sister. He has the same van that I have, but he has wooden floors.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, oh, I gotta step up my game. Like he got a whole it's like a 28-inch TV that comes out the top of the car, mood lights, all of that. And again, it has a bed in the back, so he has cushion, pillows, all that stuff.
Traveling in style, baby.
So I would like a more be able to really trick it out. Put the doors have like the lights on it that have my logos and stuff on it. With my logos on the side of I think that would be cool because you can take that anywhere.
Hell yeah! You heard it, Exhibit. He needs to pick his ride, bro. Come on now.
Indeed. Oh yeah.
West Coast Customs. Where you at?
My favorite being able to have the van is to be travel, but I used to take my kids to the drive-in theater all the time. So we would cook. Whip up food, chicken, baked mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying, with the candy, popcorn. Park, open up the back. They can sit, lay down, or whatever, eat the food. It was a movie. Yeah, it was a whole vibe. So
I grew up in Wyoming, and we did drive-in theaters too. And I don't even know if they do that anymore.
They had one in Newton,
okay,
I believe, but it closed down because of COVID.
You know, do you watch comedy? Do you mess with comedy, like comedians, stand-up comedians and shit?
Yeah, for the most part.
Do you know who Bert Kreischer is?
I do not know.
So Bert Kreischer is a goofy ass comedian. He runs with Joe Rogan and Ari Shaffir and all that.
Yeah, I know who Joe Rogan is.
I can't talk. Sound like I had a DJ scratching. He's out of L.A. and Bert actually brought back drive-in movie theaters during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He started doing comedy from them, and then people could just park in their cars because they shut down all the theaters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was doing live comedy from, and I think he coined this. I'm pretty sure that he came up with the whole idea, but he was packing out drive-in movie theaters, and people were listening to him perform, and then they were honking and flashing the lights and shit for applause.
That's what's up. What's up.
And so he was still able to perform when the rest of the world was shut down. He was touring and selling out fucking drive-in movie theaters. So
that is super creative.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yes.
But when I was a kid in Wyoming, we had this thing, and I think it was Memorial Day weekend. It was my cousin Bridget's birthday. Shout out to my cousin Bridget.
Shout out to you, Bridget.
Yeah. During Memorial Day weekend, they had this thing, and it was called Dusk Till Dawn. And as soon as it got dark, they'd play movies, and they'd play like 4 or 5 movies, and it'd go till dawn. It turned into Drunk Till Dawn. That's what everybody called it. Like, oh, we're going to Drunk Till Dawn, and then people would just car hop and hit bottles and party and wild out. But it was a cool little get together, and I got fond memories of that as a kid. So, yeah, my aunt had an old school Caprice. And she'd take us to the movie theater, couple people in the trunk, and couple, you know what I mean? We go to
I know about that life.
We go to the drive-in, and yeah, it had the actual. I mean, you could listen to it through the car speakers, but it had the old school like corded little speaker that you could put on the side of the car and adjust the radio and turn the mic on and whatnot, and yeah, you know what I mean? Kicking back and watching movies and passing out in this like, oh shit, 1970 Caprice or whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like an 18-foot car. I mean, we'd have 6, 8, 9, 10 people in this thing. You know what I mean? Comforters and shit. Everybody just chilling, watching movies. But
yeah, it's the van that I have is actually my grandfather's.
Oh, that's dope.
And so before he passed away, he gave it to me, and
he used it. It was still in really great condition. It had maybe 100,000 miles on it.
That's awesome.
So it's just crazy because it's super nostalgic to me because everywhere when I was a kid, he got it, I think, when I was like three-ish. Yeah, around 3 years old. But no, I'd have been 5 years old. All my trips is what I wrote in, and I distinctively remembering me and all my cousins, him taking us to like Six Flags and this, and we also drove to Texas, we drove to Tennessee, and to be able to give my kids that experience. Yeah, it's super just, yeah, it's an amazing feeling to be able to do that.
That's really cool. So my grandparents had a very similar setup. It was basically like a blank utility van, and it was dope. It was like a copper color with like flakes on the outside. You know what I mean? It was pretty tricked out. I think it was like 1980s, but they put a bench seat in the back that laid down and was a bed. They had the strip lights across the ceiling, and it was all tricked out. They had a TV in there and a little like cabinet, and they had the CB radios back then. You know what I mean? And so they had a CB radio so you could talk to truckers and whatnot. But very similar. You know, I mean, my grandparents lived in Southern California in L.A., and I grew up in Wyoming. And so as a kid, you know, they would come up and get me, and I would go back with them. And so I can't tell you how many times I rode from Wyoming to L.A., just me and my grandparents in this van. And you know, I mean, I'd count the mile markers, and I knew exactly where we were at, you know what I mean, before we had cell phones and all that shit. Just the kids staring out a fucking little window in the back. And I got very fond of driving and just traveling, and, you know, I got fond memories of doing that with my grandparents. That's a cool experience, so I can totally relate.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be able to have been in the area where I know what you're talking about, but also, like, grew up with the technology, too.
Yeah.
Like, I was born in 97. And so, like, I did have those, like, experience, learning cursive, going into a library, not having a cell phone on me as a little kid, still being able to have my mom not allowing me to be in the house on the weekend, kicking me out. Go do something with your life.
Yeah. Go play somewhere.
Yeah, I'll be gone the whole day, just stopping in for lunch. You know what I'm saying? If I even do that, I'm out. Probably eat lunch at my friend's house, just traveling all across Des Moines.
That's
doing
the
something.
truth. Yeah.
Riding my bike around the city. Like, man, I used to be everywhere. And nowadays, you can't get kids to go nowhere.
Nah. That's funny, bro. Yeah, the whole perspective on that has changed. You know what I mean? And my kids don't even play video games like that. Like, I bought a PS5 for my son, and I don't think either one of us play it. I just bought the new Call of Duty a little while back. I'm like, I played it twice. I'm like, man,
I can't even play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I have really bad motion sickness.
Oh, okay.
And there's something about the delay on, like, I can't, it was so difficult. It's so bad because, like, in college, that's all the shorties want to do. They're like, I'm trying to play Call of Duty. Like, and they're like, hey, slide through. Hey, 30, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And then I play for 30 minutes. I'm like, hey.
I got to get some Dramamine.
I don't really know if I can do this no more. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, Coach. It's so tragic. I can't play a lot of, like, the only video games I could play, like, sporting games.
Yeah.
But all the other ones where you got to control, like, Grand Theft Auto, like,
I can't play any of that. When I'm on planes, like, I fall asleep immediately because of the rocking of the, like, it sucks. I can't go to a music, like, I go to a music park, but I can't do anything that spins. If it starts spinning side to side, I get woozy. And my kids are having a ball. And I'm just like, yo, I can't wait for this day to be over because it's horrible. My bad. I hit the mic, everything. But
passionate about that.
Yeah, bruh, yes, indeed. It's horrible. And I remember I used to hook up my video game into my grandfather's TV, and I used to be playing, I think I had like a PS2 or a PlayStation and a PS2, and we used to be playing video games on the road trips while we were, so I could relate to that. But.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, it was, I guess, a simpler time back then.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There's definitely some cool perks. Like, anymore, like, so my parents still live in Wyoming, and it's a solid 12-hour drive all the way over to almost Omaha, up 29, and then all the way across the entire state of South
Mm-hmm.
Dakota. And so my kids get a lot of road time, and I pretty much just podcast it out and just kind of chill out and just drive. But yeah, you know what I mean? Every once in a while, I try and come up with new shit to do, you know what I mean? We'll pull over and check out the Badlands, or we went to Mount Rushmore. We went to, just weird stuff along the way that normally you wouldn't stop and check out. So try and keep it educational and entertaining at the same time.
Have you been to Branson?
I have not. I got an uncle that lives there, though. Go check Dean out.
I took my kids to, with moving around and touring and stuff, I'm just trying to be super intentional about giving them specific time. Though they're with me during the week, so I have joint legal custody of my kids, so I have them every other week.
Oh, dope.
And so having them the week, I have them the whole week, so we get to have those interactions. And I only generally leave on the weekends to do shows, or like leading up into the weekend if I have to. But so I took a family trip to Branson, Missouri, and I took them to the zoo. But you could also drive through the zoo. They had like a drive-through option. And that was super unique. They also
That's cool. You drive your own car?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they had an aquarium out there and a whole bunch of different options. Like, I heard of people going to Branson, but I never thought that they really had something for kids. But to me, it felt like a little Vegas, like low key, like.
That's
but
cool.
It had options for kids to really do something and move around. So if you haven't been, you should definitely go. It was a vibe.
There we go. This podcast was sponsored by Branson, Missouri. No, I'm just playing.
This podcast was sponsored by Branson, Missouri. Make sure you
While you're in town.
make sure you guys go get the Belgian waffles. Make sure you do it.
This podcast sponsored by maple syrup. Nah, man, that's cool.
Man.
That's cool. Okay, so you performed at a lot of cities. What's been your favorite out of all of the spots you've been able to rock? What's been your favorite spot to rock?
Ooh. It's going to either be L.A., Chicago, or Atlanta.
Nice. Big cities.
Chicago is my second home. I didn't even get into that. I come from a family of famous musicians, famous singers.
Nice.
Have you heard of the movie Cadillac Records?
Yeah.
Cedric the Entertainer plays my great-grandfather in the movie Willie Dixon.
Wow.
And so I come from a lineage of blues, jazz, R&B artists, and so
You were born to do this, bro.
Yes, yeah. And so when I go out to Chicago, it's always love. My family owns the Blues Heaven Foundation of a 22nd mission. They bought the Chess Records building and turned it into a museum. So They host events, blues events out there. So Chicago has been amazing. Performing at the Chicago Theater was love. It was such an amazing time. And again, to have that recognition and I could just walk in and like have that experience, like my name on the
marquee.
Yeah. And then having my own dressing room, being able to sign. I signed the wall because every artist and they do a lot of plays in theater and stuff out there, like you sign the wall. That's like, and my signature on the wall is next to Neo's, and
That's cool, bro.
Yes, super surreal. So one, I'll always love Chicago, and just being downtown Chicago is just a whole vibe. Atlanta, the food and the experience, and LA, being in Hidden Hills was just crazy. They moved me around in a Mercedes Sprinter. And it did a pool party. It was the first model mixer that I had ever been to. And one of the guys I was sitting in front of, he did like the stunt choreography for The Matrix.
For Keanu Reeves and them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, you're at a model mixer? He was like, bro, let me break this down to you. Yeah, it says model mixer, but it's the entertainment industry is here. And I was like, that's right. That's right. And so what did I bring to Iowa? The model mixer.
I like it.
With a twist. So I have the partnership with Selfie World, so they have 33 backdrops. So yeah, it's cool to have a networking event, but who gets to network in real time?
Everybody there.
Everybody there.
That's
and so
awesome.
I added a little twist to it, you know what I'm saying, to provide opportunity where you can, if you're a photographer, if you're an artist, you want to work with models and stuff for music videos, for promo, for your own merch, for photos for your album cover, whatever. Well, you have photographers there that can do all your stuff. You have models there. You have the whole industry right there. So everything that you need in one space, in one location.
Tap in with this man right here because he got the keys. He got the keys to the city, baby.
Indeed.
That's what's up. That's what's up, bro. All right, so I think we hit past and present, and we kind of touched on the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I mean, you're going to LA in a week, but what's further on past that? Where are you going? What are you planning?
Really, so you want me to answer where I see myself in 5 years, or just like trajectory, just moving forward, what I see?
Yeah, I did throw a lot at you.
I can answer both, but
okay,
I just want to.
Let's. Okay, 5 years. 5 years. What do you think? Are you still gonna be out here? Are you still based out of Iowa, or are you gonna have to relocate?
I like being in Iowa because I can get almost anywhere, and again, having that tie in with Chicago, with my family is super important and allows me to do so much. But I've been creating partnerships throughout the entire Midwest for something special. So you guys will have to tune into that. I won't deep dive into that, but just stay tuned. It's about to get pretty crazy pretty soon. But
brace yourself, y'all.
Yes, brace yourself. But where I see myself in 5 years, I want to have my own school.
Oh, nice. Here in Des Moines, you think?
Wherever, but I would like to have one here. I think we have a lot of kids out here that are struggling with identity and having that next space of growth. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to have an impact on my community, being a black male teacher, and working with students and being a mental health advocate. I want to create a space for not only for kids who look like me, for just kids in general, to have that growth and development and security. I had worked on a partnership with Central College, and we did this for a year, where we did classes teaching for students who wanted to get into the music industry, allowing them the opportunity, but also adding the mental health component and having days where they can speak to people outside of the realm of their teachers and really get the mental health aspect of like talking out their problems, how music actually can help the issues outside of music that they're dealing with, even getting access to therapists and stuff like that. Like, I truly want to help our community and just the entertainment production and just the youth just in general. So I see myself having my own facility, working with the youth, building and giving them the access to the things outside of Iowa, but also bringing out the world of outside of Iowa into Iowa and doing some pretty dope things. I think I'll have a couple of Grammys by then.
I like it.
Excuse me. I act as well, so I have credits on. I did a TV show on Roku. But I did
Very
have
cool.
a role. I did a reality dating show with Hy-Vee, which was crazy. So make sure you guys check that out.
Shout out Hy-Vee.
It's hilarious. It's called Love at First Bite, and my episode is as cold as ice. I'll let you guys interpret that however you may. So getting into more of that space, I love acting. I just love being on the go, moving around. So a couple Grammys, getting into my acting bag, impacting and helping my community and really helping the kids in the financial education, financial literacy, and business space. I'll still be living here, but I'm gonna be moving around.
Yeah.
I won't be home if I don't have the option to be home. I mean, I have the option to be home, but when I don't have my kids, I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be out living my life. I'm young. Yeah.
We never even.
I'll be 30.
We never even touched that. Oh, so you're 25?
Yeah,
Okay.
25.
Yeah, you're a young man, man. You got and You got a lot figured out early, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm again blessed to have the mentors and the guidance that I've had thus far in my career. Having them so young and just being young and hungry, and having the capacity. You know, a lot of people struggle with taking advice.
Yeah.
Our egos tend to get in the way of that, and mastering being able to take someone's guidance and direction, but also having your own vision is key to any successful
For sure.
partnership and relationship, because no one's going to give you any free game, anything. If you are hard-headed, don't listen.
Yeah.
And they've had life experience that you haven't had, and so they see it through a different lens. So, one, it's important to have your own vision and purpose, because if you don't have your own vision and purpose, people will put their own vision onto you because they care.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they want to see you succeed, and so that's your mom, your dad, your grandma, your cousins, your auntie, your best friends, your teacher. Like, they're going to try to put their vision of what your life is supposed to be onto you. Ultimately, only you know what that looks like, but in that, also being able to have the wisdom to be like, hey, they have different life experiences, so I should listen. I should take it in what it is that they're trying to tell me, and what it is that they want for me, and be able to, I understand what it is that you're trying to tell me and what you want from me. This is kind of my vision of where it is that I want to go. How can you help me get to my goal, get to my dream?
Nice.
And then let's work on that. Now everybody feels like they have a purpose in place and the trajectory of where it is that you want to go, and they'll hold you accountable to that. And so I'm super appreciative to be able to at least have that vision, have that awareness, but have people who are willing to check me and like, hey, yo, nah, I see where you're trying to go, but that's not it. And understanding that, though I have a vision for my life, that sometimes it's going to veer off into a different path, and having faith in that is only to still get me to where I want to go. And sometimes your life path changes, but you can still be successful in whatever it is that you see. So
That's awesome, bro. Man, we talked about a lot, bro.
yes, we did.
I think we hit it, man. I think we hit it, and we went for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, wow!
It went quick.
It went quick. Yeah,
It went quick. We might have to get you back on after you get back from Rolling Loud and tap in with you and do a follow-up interview, because this was fun.
Yes, I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for having me. Most definitely.
Nothing but respect, man. This is it's a talented young man with a lot to offer, and he's I like listening to you, bro, because you're positive and you're trying to give back to the community, and I didn't know what to expect from this interview tonight. You know what I mean? We didn't know a whole bunch about each other, and I really feel like I got to learn a lot about you, and I'm excited to see where you go with it, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Such a blessing to be able to go to the because I met you at the showcase. Again, networking. This would have never happened if we didn't network. Artists.
Real talk. Yeah.
Got to network, but to be able to have networked with you, and to just meet and to have this type of experience, is super dope. I didn't know much about your podcast platform. I did a little research before I came in here, and definitely was sending you some other folks, you know what I'm saying, that are doing things around the city that have a voice and have something to offer the community and your listeners. So, man, I'm just appreciative to be here, to be able to have the opportunity to give game, to learn something, and to just move forward and connect.
Got a lot of game. That's a fact.
Thank you.
All right. Well, on that note, it's your boy, that motherfucker Steve.
It's Entré Luché. Wait, hold on. I didn't even get into the whole back. It's your boy, Entré. Ain't no appetizer, baby. I'm the main Entré. And you're here with Steve at EmceeTV. You know, the best podcast on your video screen. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy, Entré. Let's get it.
and we out.
We've been known to snatch a piece or two. Y'all can't take over cause we gon' eat the you. Rock steady like a ginger brought Aretha through. This shit torture and I'ma keep feeding you. On that East Coast shit, y'all better duck down. Price on his dome, 5 on it like yuck mouth. When the plug get knocked, that's when the price jumps. American Nightmare, that's where the Spice One. Rappers running like Ricky in the alleyway. Putting an end to the week, no Saturday. They want static, get it shaking like Cassius Clay. Passionate thugs mixing Douce with Alizé.
Don't play with us. Them goons ain't got you safe enough. Yelling fuck them like Smokey off the angel dust. My life's so real, sounds like I made it up. Been up so long, I don't remember waking up. Dangerous, sharper than a razor's touch. We hit that strip and get the cake up. God hate ugly, so ain't no saving us. Been up so long, I don't remember waking up.
Big balls don't take orders, we make orders. Something like a